Good evening and welcome back to Precise Algorithm Trading. It is Tuesday, April 4th, 2023, and I'll do a quick overview of what the markets are doing, and then I'll go in and show what our automatic trading systems are doing. Um, so this is the S&P 500 E-mini futures contract, and you can see we're literally hovering above this diagonal line here. It's part of a triangle pattern that shows up better over on the uh, weekly chart. But it's hovering up there, and yeah, we'll see what happens. But I mean, we could go higher from here, but I would at some point really expect a retest of some of these lines down here before we go higher. That's really just to pull everybody under and get on the wrong side of the trade and then yank everybody back up again. And maybe go take out at least some of these targets that are on the left hand side. And if you look at I know I mix these up sometimes and don't want to be confusing, but the S&P 500 itself, this has not got the overnight trading action in it. So sometimes it's easier to see, it's cleaner. If you take all these lines off these charts, it's really easy to see, but then you don't have the context of what all the support and resistance and all my studies do. So we are bullish on the daily True Momo indicator and on the weekly, and so really pullbacks here. Um, really just they're either sit on your hands or possibly even a chance to enter a new trade or enter more of a long trade. So that's the S&P. The I'll just keep it with the indexes without the overnight action. This is the Dow, which has taken off really nicely. It is all green. It's not bullish yet on the weekly, and so it would be one of the flies in the ointment right now. We got to get up to these old highs just from a few months ago, and then we got a long way to go, I believe, to get to the all-time highs. So, but that's the Dow, and then we'll look at the NASDAQ here. Everything was down a little today. It looks like the transports were down the worst, 1.79%, although they've been up the most here lately in some aspects, on some days I should say. So here's the NASDAQ, and it's really just doing a breakout, it looks to me, over the recent highs where we're trying to mount and get up above. We'll see if that plays out. Doesn't have to, but we're bullish on both time frames. And let's see what the Russell's doing. And I'm going to pull it up in the E-minis just because the Russell, it zeroes out at night, and I don't know what that does to the actual chart. Of course, I think I'm going to have trouble loading the E-minis, so there we go. Great. Technical difficulties. So the E-minis on the Russell are showing bearish potential here. They are bullish on the True Momo, which I think actually takes precedence, but we are also bearish on the weekly chart. So what I'd like to see here is this thing to just get up and going and take out this weekly down arrow by the end of the week. But I'm not going to get my way necessarily. It's a matter of, obviously we can't control the markets. We can only control ourselves in the markets. So I'm going to look at oil because it's up a little overnight. It was break even today. And yeah, so it's bullish on both time frames. And I'm going to leave that at that. So it's still pretty bearish in context, but I mean, it could do anything from here. It could start really taking off. I know there's been news on oil, but I don't really follow the whole news thing. I just follow the charts. So, all right, so that's that. And then I was going to pull up the McClellan oscillators just to keep an eye on them. And you can see on this pullback that's going on to the diagonal line, we are getting a pullback on both McClellan oscillators above the 60 level and we just want to keep kind of keep an eye on it, along with the point and figure charts that I'm going to open next. So we open the stockcharts.com and we type in bullish. And I'm just going to buzz through a couple, the main ones, I think. Here's the New York average, which is up a little today. Let's look at the transports. They're probably flat. They are. I'll look at the industrials. Why not? We can do this quick. They're also flat. The NASDAQ still hasn't flipped over to a new column of X's, and it's minus 0.85% today, so that'll be interesting to see what the NDX is going to do. We're going to look at the SPX first, though. Tacked on a new X today. That's interesting, and went up by 1.13%. And then the NDX pulled back a little bit from this area up here. Technically, I'm going to be looking for it to get over 70, but we'll see what happens. And then the OEX, really, it's up by 1.61%. So really nothing broken. Most of these charts are bullish, and that kind of lends to at least my overall theory. You can have your own, obviously. And then here are our automatic trading systems that literally trade automatically through the day. So this is the Russell 2000, and I usually start with this one, and we have hit some, it's been underwater the whole quarter except for these green peaks back here, and we got up to a green peak here. I think that even happened today. It's not a green peak, but back up into positive territory. And then, you might look at this and go, well, why in the heck would you want to trade this? But it's really the longer term context is what matters. You add up all these trades, and in this case, 6 months worth of this has had a high over 80,000, and it's hovering in the $70,000 range. So, and then, in theory, and I pull them up on the weekends, these should just continue to go up and grow your account. It's kind of the point. Then you have times like this. This is the NASDAQ that's been pulling back lately, and it was looking really good when we were here, but now it's pulled back for a long time. That's been a few weeks. And that's hard to take, but in the context, it is not really, that pullback's what we just looked at. It's not any worse than this one. And look what happens after that. So there's no guarantee that's going to happen, but the math should support it. And then here's the Dow, and it was looking terrible, and it's starting to gain back. So and then in context, that's what it looks like on the 6 month chart. So can we get up past these old green dots? That is the point, and that is what we're shooting for. So it just takes time. None of this stuff happens overnight, but sometimes, I've had, and I've shared on here before, days. This is a $300,000 account we're trading, where we have an $18,000 positive day. Now, we've also had, I don't think I've had an $18,000 negative day, but I've had like $9,000 negative days, and I've had $12,000 like negative peaks in the middle of a day, where you want to just shut everything off and stop, but you can't. And if you do, you're shooting yourself in the foot. So, and I've shot myself in the foot years ago, and I'm not doing that anymore. So, anyways, that's what we've got to offer. Hopefully, that's helping you guys understand what we do. And until tomorrow, take care, good trading, and have a great night.